I would say that there are really three narratives driving Bitcoin right now. There's the sort of Elon Musk almost meme stock narrative that's driving retail. There's the Bitcoin as an inflation hedge asset that's driving Wall Street and institutional players. And then there's Bitcoin as a tool of economic empowerment that's driving actually a lot of the industry itself. And all three of those narratives have had big wins over the last couple of weeks. And so we're starting to see market strength return, but we're not quite, I think, out of the woods yet. If you look at some of the more kind of market technical factors, things like Bitcoin relative strength, we're not quite back into that bull market territory. So we'll see.
Avichal, I want to get your thoughts on the same exact question, especially as we've heard about so-called crypto whales, whether it is the push-pull, maybe perhaps a codependent relationship with Elon Musk, whether it's Paul Tudor Jones and his comments yesterday, or whether it's Michael Saylor over at MicroStrategy as they continue to raise money to buy more Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, by the way, good to see you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I agree with Jill. I think her narratives are spot on. I think when you think about more macro, what's happening here, when we look at the space, we really think long term. And the thing that jumps out to us is all of these short-term price movements, I think, are going to pale in comparison to what will happen over the next decade, both with Bitcoin as an asset, as we see all these institutions coming in, and Bitcoin and Ethereum and DeFi and sort of these as a new software platform that unlock all sorts of economic innovation. So, in the short term, I think you could see it go up, you could see it go down. The thing that gets us really excited is that in the medium to long term, this is going to be as transformative as the internet, and we're just in the early innings of that.
Avichal, it's Scott. I just have a question for you, and I thought the way that Morgan described it was so perfect, this codependent relationship, she said, between Bitcoin and Elon Musk. And I'm just wondering, how can we take something as a serious asset class when it has that kind of a relationship with whether it's Musk or Jack Dorsey or whomever comes into the spotlight with a big name and either backs it or disses it, and it fluctuates in either direction based on that? How do we take that seriously?
Yeah, it's a great question. I tend to think that the narratives around Elon Musk or any of these sort of the meme effects of it are a little bit overstated. I think at the end of the day, what's going to drive this are going to be capital inflows and outflows. And the bulk of capital inflow and outflow is going to come from very deep-pocketed institutions that are not paying attention to what Elon Musk tweets week over week. And so over time, I think it makes for a nice story. I think it's fun. Elon knows how to use Twitter. He knows how to use social media for his own personal advantages, for the benefit of Tesla. But at the end of the day, I think it's a nice story, but I don't think it actually will matter in the long term. If you look at the amount of capital that really needs to go into Bitcoin for it to achieve what it's capable of, being a global asset class worth more than $10 trillion, Elon Musk can't herald that kind of capital. As an amazing a fundraiser as he is, he's not going to be able to bring $10 trillion into the space. And so at the end of the day, I think, if you're seriously considering Bitcoin as an asset class, I think you go back to the kinds of things that Jill is talking about. Is it an inflation hedge? Is it a way for emerging economies to have a different sort of payment system? Is it a new asset class and V1 of a technology that's going to revolutionize fintech and finance? And those kinds of things, I think, will ultimately dominate. And so I think the real deep-pocketed institutional investors are paying attention to those things much more than they are Elon Musk.
I think, Jill, Paul Tudor Jones used sort of the description yesterday in the interview with Andrew that Bitcoin, he liked it because he liked investing in something. I think he used the word certain. And I'm trying to think, it seems like it's anything but certain, right? I mean, how can something be considered a store of value or certain if it fluctuates so wildly and has so much volatility, either moment by moment, day by day, or week by week?
So you have to remember that Bitcoin is more than just a price, right? Bitcoin is a technology. And when I heard Paul Tudor Jones saying that on CNBC the other day, what I heard him talking about was the technology. He was not talking about the price. And in order to be an investor in something at a favorable price and to ride the increase in that price over time, particularly when it comes to emerging technology, you have to study the technology and you have to be a believer in the fundamentals of the technology first. And so I would just remind you and remind anyone watching that Bitcoin is first a technology and the price is there as a factor of that.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC. on YouTube.